Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that we are back at it again with another reset of the Shiyu Defense. And everybody has been begging me to play Shiyu number 7. And the reason for that is quite simple. Apparently, the new boss that will be arriving, the Heretic Jester, is supposed to be me. Frankly, I can't really see where anybody's drawing the similarities from, but we'll go ahead and see how much of a doozy this guy actually is. As a bit of a forewarning, I've never fought this boss before, so there probably will be a couple of trial runs just to see how he works across the recording. We might put in a couple of bloopers, but yeah, we'll be fighting this guy, see how crazy he is, because I've heard that the ZZZ devs have apparently taken their foot off of the neck of players. And apparently this reset of Shiyu is actually quite reasonable, quite easy, and not that much of a concern at all. Ironic that the best Shiyu defense, potentially the best Shiyu reset ever, is the one that I'm the boss of. So let's go ahead, let's break it down, let's see whether or not people are spitting fact or fiction when it comes to this matter. On the other side, we'll have this thing. It's cancerous. It has iframe moves. It's whatever. We'll be using Yixuan for that side, though, so I'm sure she'll be fine. So on side number 1 over here, we're gonna have some bonuses. One is ether resistance and physical resistance drop by 15%, which is, like, interesting and cool. The weird part about this, though, is that they don't have an ice buff. And the reason why I'm saying this is weird is because Miyabi is currently the on-banner character, and there doesn't appear to be a single buff to her, at least on the damage type side, but they do have ether. However, there is a second buff. After using an EX special attack or chain attack, attribute anomaly damage increases by 15, crit damage increases by 20, and sheer damage increases by 20. So we are shilling Yixuan, and we are shilling Miyabi over here, at least in this effect. And we'll be using both of those units, but we will also be making sure to try out some other teams on the second side, and seeing how those ones perform. So the first test that I want to do, right, is just trying both of these teams out using some potentially best in slot or better in slot lineup. So the first side is going to be these three. Anomaly Squad, or the one that I have on my account. And on the other side, we're going to be running Astra Yao, Yixuan, and then the Panda guy. And then we're going to be running Snap alongside Bellion. And that'll be the lineup that we go for. So, yeah, that will be that one. Let's give it a bit of a stab and see how it goes. But before we do that, quick look on all of the stats. 3.2k over here for Yuzuha. These are the stats for our Burnice. That's going to be the stats of our Miyabi. Top 3%, by the way, on the ranking websites. Astra Yao, AI, 48.2, 171.6. I know her set gives her crit rate. It gives her 12%, right? The weapon gives crit rate. Oh, right. She's at 68 plus 12. She's actually at 80. Yeah, she's at 80 in battle. And Pan Yinhu with 3.4k. So that's what we're going to be working with. Let's go! Did not know that's how he starts off the battle, so I guess we gotta wait for him to land. What's good, brother? He's a little aggressive. The anomaly buildup feels like it is taking a minute. It doesn't seem like we're having any issues with miasma over here. Does this boss not have miasma? That's a timing moment over there. Honestly, we got our damage off. We got our damage off before his miasmic phase was, like, really bad. That one didn't seem that. That one seemed pretty good. That one seemed so much more fair than Miasmic Jane. It's unbelievable. No iframe moves. Nothing too wild. He almost seems like he's activating Miasma later on in the fight as well. So, like, using your ultimates early isn't that big of an issue. And bro does not seem tanky at all. This has to be one of the more satisfying, and this probably has to be the best Miasma boss I've ever fought. I think just like I made some noticeable mistakes during that gameplay, and that's my first time ever fighting it. I did not know the moveset. I didn't do a single parry, right? I just did mostly dodges and stuff, but his break bar got fucking destroyed immediately, not doing a single parry. This boss had enough weaknesses to make up for the fact that they have a miasma shield. I don't know if like their stagger is lower, like what was going on, but that encounter actually felt fair. The one thing I will say is a little bit difficult about this fight is that, well, I do a lot of damage. My boss does a fuck ton of damage. And obviously, not knowing the moveset, I got hit by a couple of the attacks, and I was like, damn, I might actually get wiped over here. But I would prefer that type of difficulty in this game, where it doesn't feel like I'm getting fucked over by the fact that I don't have the newest character or I'm not dealing enough damage. This is just, the guy breaks super fast using an anomaly team. He doesn't have a lot of HP in the first place, and it doesn't look like the anomaly buildup got nerfed like it did for Jane either. This boss builds up anomalies at a normal pace, and so it actually interacts with the buffs. Yeah, I will have to say, me getting a time like this, even though I'm using Yuzuha, right? I did none of the special mechanics, and I'm pretty sure we'll get a decent time with Lucy as well. I'll try it out with Lucy. Maybe I'll eat my words. But now let's go ahead and do the other side. And you can see from the state of my team, not knowing the moveset was a bit of a detriment. I almost died, but not that bad. Now let's just check out the Thracian side. All right, let's see over here. I mean, I guess I just got it early over here. Okay, why is she doing that?
Your fate is sealed.
Is there even a point in doing that? Is there even a point in parrying that move when he has an iframe? I don't think so. Yeah, I guess you can parry iframe attacks. Though I don't know why you would want to. You'll end up like me.
Cycle of yin and yang. As decreed.
So far, this boss seems very manageable. If this thing cannot be broken, apparently. Okay, all right. I mean, you can clearly see it's not the worst thing ever. It's just this guy's break bar doesn't seem to be existent. I don't know how I managed to deal all of his HP and the bar's at 70%. So maybe he doesn't seem like that. Let's just look at the time so I can give the final take. This might be the most achievable Shiyu, perhaps in the last 5 or 6 months. And I think it's so crazy that the one that I'm featured for on the front page is the most reasonable one we've had yet. I took longer on this side because I've never used Yixuan against the Thracian before. This one might actually be a bit more of an issue than side 1 if I'm frankly being honest. But now what we gotta do is we gotta try this out using some different teams. I've already given my initial take. I think this guy needs to be easier to break if this team is 100 to zeroing him, hitting a couple of parries. But that's just a little bit weird. And then this one felt really good with the Yuzuha team. Let's switch it up a little bit though, right? Let's start switching it up and start using some different units instead. And the first example is, what if I use Astra on side 1, and then I run my Hugo lighter team on side 2, right? What if we do a little bit of this?
Want to see the red scarf? I shall follow you. Please forgive me.
So let's just check the builds real fast. Impact, good. All right, he's got a level 60 Hellfire gear. Nice, we got that ready to go. Let's see the Hugo. We got the Hugo over here. 84.2, 136, 3K. Lycaon, 186. Hugo, 186. We got some big impact boys. They got the ER. Let's see what the first side looks like. And let's make sure to also switch around our Bengal Booze. And then give this guy the Robin. Now, let's take a look and see what this clear is like. The Sausage Party team. Okay, take 1. Do be aware that this guy actually has an ether weakness. He actually has ether weakness, so... I'm just gonna ult here to get some damage off. I'm just gonna ult early to get some damage off. Because this miasma doesn't seem that bad. Ah, damn it. Okay. Same time. Same time as the Yuzuha team. With an Ether Weak support. We are literally using Astra Yao, a worse support with the team. Because she is attack focused and doesn't have as much anomaly support. Plus, the boss is ether resistant as well. And we use Yuzuha instead, and we're getting similar times. So... again, it just seems more free-to-play friendly from this angle, or it seems like just more account-friendly from this angle. This boss feels good. I don't know what it is. It feels like they significantly delayed when the miasma pops on this boss. It's going to like 3/4 or below on its HP, and it's not popping the miasma. And what this does is it lets me go ahead and like just keep pumping damage in the first phase, use the ultimates at a reasonable time, and it's not like miasma is triggering when I have like 2,500 decibels. On previous bosses, miasma would like trigger at worst times. And here, I trigger the miasma, I rebuild up my decibels, and I had enough for an ult at the end to finish him. Felt good. And the only thing I had was one EBA on Miyabi go into the miasma shield, but it wasn't that bad. I don't know what it is. How is it that on my second time fighting this boss, it feels better than every other miasma boss I fought? This thing has an iframe stage too. When it uses miasma, it gains iframes for about 2 seconds. Maybe 1. It's so short. I don't know what they did. It feels so much better. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is. I've given some of the reasons for why I think this fight is probably the best miasma one we've had yet. Feel free to leave in the comments all of that stuff, right? What just makes it so much better? Because I think that this is a moment, at least in my opinion, where the ZZZ devs should actually be given some congratulations for the adjustments that they've made to this mechanic. They've made it feel better. They've added some clear weaknesses to this boss in particular to make up for the fact that it has miasma. And this is the proper way to actually balance the game, at least from the 2 runs that I've done. It's actually the proper way to get it going, because apparently there's even a special parry you can do, right? There's even a special parry that this boss has available during the miasma phase that immediately cuts it in half. So it's even easier. It could potentially even be easier to do. That's the right way to do it. I didn't interact with the mechanic. We'll try it next time with the Lucy team, maybe. But yeah, that's that for this one. Now let's check the second side and look at Hugo. Let's see how Hugo does. Okay, all right. Oh, this guy's not an elite. You can only stun him once. I was trying to do a double chain attack like a noob. I was trying to do a double chain attack, and I was like, wait. I thought this guy could be stunned multiple times.
I shall carve dawn into the shadow. Scramble. Allow me to
What's going on? What's going on? I don't know if it's my gameplay or that's just really bad luck. That was insane. Yeah, that last 1% felt like a lot more than that.
I shall carve dawn into the shadow.
I already know that was not that good. All right, let's just play with a couple of mistakes then, because it feels like optimizing this one with the Hugo team actually makes me want to cry.
I shall balance the scales of the night. Allow me.
I guess we'll just have to do 3 stuns and then see how this one feels. This is just it just feels off. And I think the fact that we'll be taking 3 stuns to do this one is like, you know, that'll let you know how bad this one actually is. It's, as long as we get decent times with this. Okay, does he do any parryable moves at all? Does he not have any parries?
I shall balance the scales of the night. I shall carve dawn into the shadow. Prepare to kneel before me.
Oh! Was he supposed to parry that? This guy's a bit of a... He's a little bit of a doozy for this unit, bro. I will be honest with you.
I shall
Wow,
balance the
he's a little
scales
bit-
of the night.
Maybe you're just not meant to use Hugo against this guy.
I'll eliminate any of
Wow,
Make way for the undefeated champion.
maybe this guy's for Miyabi. Yeah, we're kind of getting... I just don't even... I think that this guy being, like, so anti-stun... Him being so anti-stun and needing, like, 4 of them to deal enough damage, not gonna lie, this one just doesn't seem like it's made for Hugo. I'm going to be real with you there. It is an ice weakness, though. And so, I guess the thing is that, man... I don't know if this is more of a thing about Hugo kind of just being bricked is the issue. Or if it's just, maybe just don't have... I just find it an odd situation that this boss is ice weak, and Hugo is one of the worst characters to use against it. Let's give it one last try. Let's sweat it all out, because I think we get it done in like 2. Maybe we can get a decent time on this. Let's try to get the boss in 2 stun, or the mini-boss in 2 stun windows, and then the actual boss. Let's try it that way. Okay.
Carve dawn into the shadow.
Come on, get him. That was, I don't even think, I'm stuck at like 1%, bro. All right, let's keep going.
The scales of the night. I shall carve dawn into the shadow. Let order and madness dance.
Okay, all right, buddy boy. Why does this bro like moonwalk like 400 feet away from me? A disorder proc? Alright, surely this just kicks him into oblivion, right? Bro, this boss's stagger bar is nuts!
I shall carve dawn into the shadow.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I thought we played this one pretty decently, but it might just not be enough for this, because this guy is a bit of an issue.
I shall balance the scales of the night.
I'm gonna be real with you, man. An ice DPS character should never perform that badly into an ice weak boss. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, that got me an A rank over there. I just simply think that Hugo is legitimately not usable because that clear time We took a minute 46, basically a minute 50 on that other one. This motherfucker took over 3 minutes with the Hugo team. And I don't think that I was playing the Hugo team horrifically badly. Sure, we got hit a couple of times, but this guy, this Thracian, has way too much stagger for the character to even be slightly usable. So I guess if you use your Ellens, your Zhu Yens, it might be better or something. Zhu Yen's probably going to be bad too, unless you play her with like Astra. And I think you actually have to use Astra and Nicole if you're going to use Zhu Yen. Because this motherfucker, you're not going to stun this dude. You ain't going to stun this dude. But I think this is more so a reflection of, I don't think you can release characters like this with enemy design like that. I'm going to be real with you. Because if I'm a motherfucker that pulled Hugo, in their best in slot team, they all got 5-star weapons as well. Hugo was on his signature, by the way. With these stats.
Forgive me for stealing the moonlight.
I hope y'all understand that. That's what we're working with over here. So that's a little unfortunate. Now, we've seen how bad Hugo is. Now let's do our last test. And that's going to be against Mr. Miasma, Mr. Saint, with a Giga free-to-play support. And, of course, we'll be ensuring that we do actually get some good buffs and stuff in. Let's get right on into this. All right. So we're going to have our Lucy, Burnice, Miyabi team. And we're only going to do side 1 and see what the Saint Tonto boss looks like. Oh, W engine? Right. Right. Good call, gamers. There's something with this boss. He activates his miasma way later. It feels way better to plan around it. And his break bar is insane for using a team like this with no stun characters on it. That's definitely what's going on over here. I'm definitely feeling the lack of damage buffs, though. It is a little bit significant.
Victory, the only option.
Okay. Somebody said I can parry him? That parry seemed to be decent.
Let's move. The cold is silent. Catch this one. I swear on my blade.
Let's see what the time's looking like, boys.
My blade is ready.
A fair bit longer, but there's no second miasma phase, and I'm pretty sure I could parry some more attacks to make that a better situation. I missed the parry, apparently. And I think that hitting the parry would save around, what, like 5-10 seconds? So, I failed the biggest parry as well. Did a 0223, but also, not the worst thing ever. Not the worst thing ever, but that was a pretty significant time increase. And I do think I played that one relatively well. But the fact that there is a mechanic for people that aren't as well invested to dramatically shorten the time that he's in the miasma state, and I can save like 5 or 10 more seconds over there, that's a good way to implement it. Have one specific move that a maybe less invested, less pay to win player can study up on, and then that can dramatically cut down on the time. So I gotta say, this is way better than using Lucy on the other team. In the other Shiyu defense against Miasmic Jane, you wanna know what my time was using Lucy against Miasmic Jane? It was 3 minutes. With that same exact Miyabi and that same exact Burnice. It was 3 minutes. And this is 0-2. And honestly, right? It's probably like an 0-2-20, if we're being entirely honest. I think it's an 0-2-20, probably less. So yeah, I think that the HP maybe didn't necessarily move as much, but this boss's miasmic phases feel way more fair. As far as I'm concerned, only one of them is going to occur because he triggers miasma later in the fight, and with the technique where you can parry one of his big attacks and cut down the miasma bar even more, I think this is probably the best iteration of it yet. And I will give the devs some props for the design of the actual first side. If you look at the team that I've used, I can rationalize an 0-2-23 or an 0-2-20 because that's my 3rd time ever fighting the boss. And I used no elements that interact with it. I use none, right? Electric, physical, I'm using fire and ice over here. So I think that's a fair one, especially with a budget support. And then my Burnice, right, doesn't have her signature. So only Miyabi has her signature over here. Her build is pretty cracked, but it's like my Lucy, I'm gonna be real with you guys. It would probably be a lot better if my Lucy was Cinema 6, but she's... Yeah, this is a strong one. This is a strong one. Yeah, I only have Cinema 5, so that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, 6 is a big one. So, yeah, I'll give the devs some props for the balance of the first side, but the second side is, it's more of a character issue or just simply a boss stat issue. I don't think you can release characters like Hugo and then literally have bosses where it's like, okay, this guy just doesn't get stunned. And if you play a stun team, you're not going to be able to fight him. I think that kind of sucks, especially knowing that this guy was released in patch 1.7. I think this is a character issue. I think this involves like a kit rework or like a boss rework or something like that because it's weak to ice. I should be able to use ice unit. I don't know why it's this complicated to like fight things in this game where you can't use the ice unit, the ice DPS unit against the ice weak boss. That's a layer of just like player unfriendliness and complexity that doesn't make very much sense at all. Like, you have to go in a roundabout way of reasoning to rationalize why this guy doesn't work against this thing. And at the end of the day, you're like, was this necessary in the game? Is this something that adds to the game? And the thing is, I think that this is something that just takes away from it and is only going to piss players off. So yeah, that's my take. Good first boss. Interesting second boss. The situation with the Thracian, though, and Hugo is what it is. So yeah, I think I'll give the devs props for this one. This is the first miasma boss that doesn't feel like cancer. And yeah, I think you can probably use a lot of teams against this guy. And I guess the only thing is, don't use an ether DPS. But yeah, the first good miasma boss, and I think we've outlined all of the reasons why. Very low durability, breaks super fast, miasma is delayed compared to prior bosses, and has a special attack during the miasma phase that can be parried for a massive amount of miasma bar reduction. That's the right way to do it. I don't know what all these other past fucking bosses were. You can't just be lazy as shit and just add a miasmic phase to existing bosses because the game was not made for it. You have to design bosses with the shield in mind and stop giving them fucking 10-second iframes. Stop giving them 10-second iframe moves on top of a miasma shield. Stop doing that. You didn't do it on this boss, and so he doesn't feel as diseased. It's really just that simple. So yeah, that'll be that for this one. That'll be that for our Shiyu Defense review. And like I said, I'll give devs props where credit is due, but do realize, right, would the boss be better without miasma? Probably. This boss, I don't think the miasma adds too much necessarily to his gameplay or to his kit. I think that it's just the most well-designed one. I still don't think it's an add to the game. And as we saw with Miasmic Jane, it's only given these devs more room to potentially fuck you over. So you should still be boycotting this dog shit mechanic. Let me know what you all think about this one. I know it's a bit of a positive spin, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Peace out.